On the other hand, unless you had some effective restraint, you end up with something equally dangerous: licentiousness, the unbridled pursuit of personal appetites at the expense of the common good. This is just another form of tyranny, where the individual is enslaved by his appetites and the possibility of any healthy community life crumbles. Edmund Burke summed up this point in his typically colorful language. Men are qualified for civil liberty in exact proportion to their disposition to put chains upon their own appetites. Society cannot exist unless a controlling power be placed somewhere, and less of it there is within, the more of it there must be without. It is ordained in the eternal constitution of things that men of intemperate minds cannot be free. Their passions forge their fetters.
How could you describe Donald Trump better than Burke, who has talked about people who have no personal moral parameters? Burke also said, famously said, the only thing necessary for the triumph of evil is for good men to do nothing. What would be a more apt description of the Republican sycophants like Barr, who have gone along with Trump from the beginning of his presidency, and now, in the case of Barr, are trying to call on religious conservatives to rise up and vote for him in spite of everything, by this not too subtle message saying that secularism leads to decadence and violence. And by the way, all the numbers point in the opposite direction. The mass shootings approved by the Republican Party through the gun lobby and the NRA aside, America is far less violent in terms of criminality than it has been for a long, long time. But that aside, the hypocrisy of someone standing up and questioning the secular or the liberals in America, or the progressives, based on Edmund Burke's quotes about reining in personal passions, who serves the president who has less of a curb on his tongue, less of a curb on his mind, less of a curb on the zipper of his trousers, less of a curb on where his hands go up women's skirts than any person who's ever sat in the White House. And for Barr to stand up at Notre Dame University and present himself as a serious Roman Catholic theologian and philosopher here, calling on America to vote for a president that will guarantee religious liberties, when it comes to really being a guarantee to white nationalism and the gun-toting hordes of the unwashed mob that follow Donald Trump to his rallies. When you put these images together, just think for a moment of Barr standing here talking this way, and then what Trump actually has represented to this country.